Hey everyone, Andrew Jones here, Vice President over at Truck Parking Club. I'm sitting down here with Scott. He's actually president over at U-Haul. He's got about 3 facilities out in the greater Boston area. Before we get into Scott's story, for those who don't know, Truck Parking Club is the largest network of reservable truck parking across the nation. Close to 5,000 locations now, tens of thousands of truckers, all using our platform to park at locations like Scott's. We handle the marketing. Your property shows up on our app, social media, Trimble. We handle the billing, the payments, disputes, collections, and also the customer service. We have a team of customer service agents. They used to be truck drivers, and they are available 24/7, 365. In addition to that, we put up signage, access controls, and we cover up to $25K of property damage on book stays. So really, at the end of the day, we just kind of run that business for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And that's why I invited Scott here. Scott, you've been on the platform now for, since January. You're the president over in the greater Boston area at U-Haul and also a board member of NESA. Feel free to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Hey, thanks, Andrew. Good morning. Like you said, I'm president of U-Haul Company of Eastern Massachusetts. I've been in this role for about 15 years. And we operate a handful of U-Haul storage, self-storage centers, and then we have our independent network of dealers. And prior to being president, I was actually an area field manager 15 years ago, where my job was to go out and find new U-Haul dealers and support them. So I was used to looking at space in a lot and saying, this is underutilized and we can do more with it. And it wasn't until I started looking at some of my own space, I was like, why am I not doing more with this? And, it's been a good fit so far. You said, it's been about 2 months. We started, I think, first week of February. And within 24, maybe 48 hours, we had our first booking. And it's been pretty well booked out almost since. So.
Yeah, I've been very, very excited about the performance at the site. And I mean, you bringing like great supply into a market where we just didn't have enough supply, for our trucker members, it really helped out a lot. Kind of take me back just a little bit more for anybody that's really interested in how you just even got started in storage, or at U-Haul. How did that kind of evolve? And I mean, it feels like once you get the taste of it or the sting of it, you're in it for life. How'd that happen?
Yeah, I mean, kind of just happenstance, right? It wasn't planned. I mean, I was young family, had a son coming, and picked up a part-time job at U-Haul. And I guess after about a year or so, I decided I wanted to work there full-time and began installing trailer hitches for them, and then managed a couple of their retail locations, and then was an area field manager for quite a while. And, I guess the positions kept coming along. I kept saying yes. I kept having fun, and, it's funny because I was actually talking to someone the other day, and I didn't realize that I talked about my time before being the president of U-Haul of Eastern Massachusetts, like the bulk of my career. But really, I've been in this role 15 years, and I was in that role about 14 years. So time flies when you're having fun.
Dang, man. So a total of 30 years, 29 years at U-Haul?
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. I mean, and when I talk, Scott's being very humble, everyone. He's, a wealth of knowledge. And obviously that's why you're invited to the board and why I invited you here. So tell me a little bit about getting started at Truck Parking Club. What was that like? How did you get onboarded? Just
Sure.
kind of tell us the story. Even actually, let's go back. How did you find out about us?
Yeah, so I don't remember the exact moment I first heard about Truck Parking Club. It was probably on LinkedIn. It was probably a post you had or something similar. Somewhat familiar with the shortage of parking because I travel with my family in a travel trailer, and I see at truck stops where sometimes I can't even pull in and stop with my camper because they're all full and they're lined up on the on-ramps and the off-ramps. But what I didn't realize is overnight parking, that there was a shortage on that. So when I reached out to you and we talked about getting a couple of locations set up, it was pretty painless. I let you guys know the address, kind of sent you some pictures, and you guys got it all set up for me on the back end, showed me, and everything was good. We lit it live, and like I said, I think it was 24 hours. We had our first booking, and what I discovered pretty quickly is there's a lot of local owner-operators that don't have a place to park overnight. And they all talk to each other and they're all friends. So as soon as one, booked a week and then decided to stay a month, then it was, oh, my buddy, and now it's just a matter of, not having enough space, I guess, which is what you guys are solving. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, you actually sent me an email the other day about like when we first started talking, you had this little parcel next to, I think, the facility that you're at right now, where you're like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to develop this and turn it into RV boat storage or truck parking, but like, how big is that parcel? I think it was like a quarter of an acre, half an acre, and now you're just going to go ahead and throw that up on Truck Parking Club as well?
yeah, roughly about that much space. And honestly, yeah, I mean, it's very little cost. I'm going to do a little bit of improvement to that area, but very little cost. And I know the demand's there. I mean, I already have, customers that are saying as soon as you open it, we'll take it. So it's just a math problem, right? Figuring out.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense, man, and I'm really glad to hear that, because I was even surprised at how fast all three of the facilities pretty much went online and just got filled up. Having said that, though, I mean, we came out with our optimized pricing. It's very new. I know you've had a lot of really great feedback for it, because we really did kind of take the rates and kind of reduce it to incentivize getting truckers in there. And then all of a sudden you got full really quick. I'd like you to kind of, tell us a little bit about that, the feedback about our optimized pricing. And, I mean, you've been in storage for 30 years now, man. I mean, what kind of advice would you give us? And what are you thinking about that?
Yeah, well, I did not, or I still don't know much about truck parking. So when I saw the optimized pricing option, it made sense to me. I'm like, why for me to try to figure it out? Let them figure it out. We can see what the demand is, what the supply is, and go from there. I had one of the three locations that just seemed to be, to take off. So that one, I went in and manually bumped the rates a little bit, not realizing that I was kind of messing with the optimization you guys are doing in the background.
All good.
But then I noticed you guys started to, like, one of our locations was a little slow to take off. And we lowered the rates, so you guys lowered the rates on that by a little bit. And, so I believe now at the three properties, they're all three different rates, but I'm watching them change as it becomes more busy. And, none of them are really that low. It's just a few dollars seem to push people one direction or another.
Yeah. No, and that makes sense. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say sometimes we do that, with our own product. If one location is hotter than another, if you can incentivize the customer to go a short distance to another location. So I think that's what we're trying to do, is like, this location's busy, always sold out. Hey, just up the road 15 minutes, we got a nice location as well, and it's a little cheaper,
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, what really surprised you? I mean, U-Haul's a national name. Everybody knows U-Haul just right off the rip. They know you have one of the biggest self-storage companies in the nation, as well as, I mean, you're the biggest rental. How would you put that? Rental truck business in really?
Yeah, do-it-yourself moving business.
Do-it-yourself moving. But with us, we're fairly new. Obviously, we're getting traction. What was like the biggest surprise for you? Kind of getting into this and listing the properties, and now 2 months in, what was like the biggest, like, oh wow, kind of moment?
I would say, beside the demand that I didn't realize it was there, it's just the ease of it. I mean, you guys made it real easy to set it up. The app's real easy to use. I have the general managers of each location get notifications as well when a new booking comes in or anything like that. It's just been, really easy to use is I guess is one part of it. And then the customer service side of it. We really haven't had any issues, but we had a lot of snow when we started up, and we had, a customer come in and wasn't real sure where to park at one location because there was a large snow pile kind of where it looked like on the map. And, someone reached out to me from your customer service department. I didn't take the call. I missed it. They texted me. I responded. They handled the customer. Everything was great. I think there was one other situation that was similar. A trailer that was left a few days late. I sent an email on that. It's taken care of. So you guys have been really good with that. My, I guess, concerns going into it were, what is the activity going to be like? Is it going to cause any friction for our customers first, and then our team, which it hasn't. It's been, issue free. And, is there demand? And then is there going to add work, to the team? And it really hasn't. So it's been all good.
Right on, man. No, that's really, really good to hear. Tell me about what do you guys plan on doing next? I know that you were kind of like the guinea pig at U-Haul, And obviously, we're very excited about the partnership. Very happy to see how the pilot's going. You went out to Phoenix a couple weeks ago. I know you probably had a lot of questions. I've seen a lot of people on my LinkedIn from U-Haul. Your peers hit me up, which is super exciting. What was the consensus? I mean, it's still kind of like, oh, it's just new. Hey, Scott, keep on going. Like, what's the future?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Andrew, when you work for a large corporation, sometimes it's tough to try things, right?
Yeah, of course.
I try to look at it as, we operate as an independent marketing company here, and we're responsible for those results, right? So I try to treat it 100% as my business, and I look for any opportunity to make income as long as, liability's covered and cut expenses and all that. And, being the pilot for this, I didn't ask for permission for anyone. As a matter of fact, it was a little tough trying to figure out the banking to get the money going into U-Haul, but I figured, hey, once it's coming in, we'll figure it out. But I have no regrets that I've done it. I've had a few people ask me about it, and I've posted on LinkedIn as well. I think tagged you when we first got this going a month in. So I'm sharing to those that want to hear it how it's working for me.
Yeah.
I expect that there'll be more U-Haul locations that will probably want to get in on it. Not all of them have the space, but the ones that do, why not monetize it?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, and we're agnostic, right? We're all here to just go ahead and solve the truck parking problem, whether it's a U-Haul location or a warehouse location, or anything in between, right? And as we kind of start rounding this out a little bit, what would you tell somebody else that's on the fence, like let's say a self-storage operator, right? Like, what would your advice be if they're on the fence about utilizing Truck Parking Club? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, what I would do first is if I knew another storage operator was already doing this, is I would reach out to them and talk to them. When I got into this a couple months ago, I didn't know of anyone in self-storage that was doing it personally, or else I would have reached out to them and had that conversation first, So I guess that said, I'm available for anybody that wants to reach out to me that says, hey, I was just working in self-storage. But, if you have the space, there's really been, like I said, no downside to it. I've had mostly, like I said, the local drivers that just want a place where they can park their truck each night and it's safe. And then I've had a mix of, people off the road for a week or something visiting family, or whatever it is, but it's just been really easy. So it's been all upside for us. So I would say if another self-storage location is thinking about it, is, reach out to me or someone else is doing it, have a conversation with you, and then give it a try at one or two locations. I mean, there's really nothing to lose. There's no expense to it. So.
Right on, man. And then, any parting advice just in general about, you've been in storage for 30 years, man, like any kind of just, there's a lot of new Gen Zs kind of getting into the business. And this is even outside of, what we do here at Truck Parking Club. But like, what kind of advice would you give to any kind of self-storage operator? You've been in this business for a while. So what would you give to like the young guys and guys?
Yeah, I guess what I would say is, something I learned a long time ago but forgot. I think the whole COVID surge made a lot of us forget, some of the basics that got us to where we are, or some of the fundamentals that, are important in the industry. And really myself lately, just refocusing on, are we utilizing everything we can on the income side, to create NOI? That could be unused space outside with truck parking. It could be, an unused, room that could be a flex space or something like that. And looking at the expense side of it too. So, I mean, I would say that, really there's opportunities out there to add income almost at every storage location, whether it be truck parking, partnership with U-Haul. There's companies like we're talking Mark, who's Storage Defender out there. He has a great product. There's all these ways that you can add service for your customers, add income, which adds value to the property, right?
Yeah.
And they don't carry expenses, so it's all upside. So my advice would be, if you're having a hard time with occupancy or anything like that, is really focus on efficiency and maximize the income, minimize the expenses, and you can do well while you chase the occupancy back.
Right on, man. And for anybody that's interested in, reaching out to you, how can they find you? Email, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, and then my email is scott_chase@uhaul.com. My cell phone's on LinkedIn as well. I keep that public. I see you're going to be at NISA coming up in a few weeks, huh?
I certainly am, man.
The expo, is that your first trip out for that one? Or?
It is. It'll be my first NISA event, and we're gonna have a booth there. We'll. Oh yeah.
I was just reading. Yeah, I was just when we were getting ready to hop on. I saw the new issue of the Northeast Storage Edge come out, and I was flipping through. I was like, "Oh, look at this!" It's halfway through it when we get on. So,
oh, that's awesome, man. No, we're super excited to go ahead and sponsor. And anyways, guys, appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in. And Scott, I'll actually give you a call here in a sec.
all right, thanks, Andrew.